All right, guys, so this is my 2007 Cayman 2.7 liter. So that makes it the base model. It's not the S. It's dirty right now. I haven't washed it this week. I usually wash it once a week. So I'll just try to cover all the things that I've done to it, and cover some of the small defects that I either haven't gotten to or plan to get to. So you can see it's on 19-inch avant-garde wheels, 10.5s in the back, and then I think this 8.5 or 9 in the front, whatever the factory widths are, but they're 19s instead of the factory 18s. I've already gone into the dashboard computer and updated it. Basically, you just go in and tap the control rod, and you can switch it over to 19 so the car knows what it's running on. So the wheels, the tires are Michelin Pilot 4S tires. And you can see, I mean, it doesn't look like a lot of tread, but it is. These tires have less than maybe 2,000 miles on them, maybe. They're just, you know, low, what do you call it? Low profile and, you know, whatever. So brakes are new. That's just surface rust because it's been raining here. Comes off after I drive for a little while. Anybody that knows cars knows that happens, but these are the OEM style slotted that are supposed to be on the car. All the work's been done by my local mechanic. He's a Porsche mechanic. He races Porsches and works on Porsche and Ferrari and stuff. So again, pardon I should have washed it, but I haven't had a chance. So the headlights, you know, got the black film around it. That's no big deal, but it does have 3M, thick 3M clear material over the headlight lenses. I had them, they weren't bad, but I went ahead and have them buffed out anyway before we put the 3M material. And you can see, I mean, they're dirty, but very clear, no yellow, you know, nothing like that. So those have been on there since I've had it. I've had it about 3 years. Usually I keep it covered up. That's why it's dirty, because I drove it the other day, and when I got home, I didn't want to wash it and then cover it, and I only cover it after I wash it. So that being said, it's got the grill inserts in it. I just did it with zip ties because I like to be able to take them off and check the condition of the radiators, but they look good. Like I said, I did a lot of this stuff myself, and I'm, you know, so I cleared the corners, the corner lights. The windows are tinted all the way around with crystalline film tint, so you can see that you can still see into the car, but it keeps the sun off. Even the front windshield's tinted. These are magnetic with 3M carbon fiber material. The reason they're magnetic is if I ever wanted to paint the car, I could just easily take them off. But I took the original rock guards off because they were obviously really cracked. These are carbon fiber grill inserts. When I took the grills apart, the plastic inside broke. You know, it's typical of foreign, you know, European cars. The plastic clips didn't survive, and so I just used a Velcro mount temporarily. It's easily fixed. You can just buy new inserts and with the clips, but I didn't want to go through all that for a car that I'm just driving. You know, it's not meant to, you know, I didn't put this together for car shows or anything. I made it a daily driver. 3M material on the back lights as well, slightly tinted just to draw down some of that red. There's the Soul exhaust tips. You can see Soul exhaust. You can look them up online. They do exhaust just for these cars. So there's that. Cosmetic stuff. I added the Porsche logo over the Cayman. The wing works up and down as it's supposed to. I think it comes up at 75, but I usually drive with it up anyway just because it looks cool. And then I did the sort of the Miami blue underneath just to add a little bit of color to it because it was kind of boring, just flat black. You can see the insert on this side fits a little better. The other side I could probably tweak and make it fit a little better, but you can see it's been that restrictive plate that sits right behind here has been removed, and then I put this in here to keep leaves and stuff out. So just small things that I did for myself that I liked. So unlock the car here. And towels in the seats because I take my little dog with me when I go places. We'll go back to the back here, and I'll just show you Those are the shocks that I said. Those are the Godspeed 1-inch lowering shocks. I just haven't had them installed yet because I just haven't had time. There's all that has been redone last year. The material here was all messed up when I bought the car, so I had it redone by a headliner company. The shocks are new in the back, and the shocks in the, and there's the Durametric. There's also a little leather Porsche carry bag. Oh, wrong button. All right, so we'll put the hood here. Fingers in there. All right, there's a tiny little dent, if you can look right here. It's like a little bitty, and you can do dentless paint or paintless dent removal to pull it out. Again, I've been working on it as I can, so there's things I just haven't gotten to yet. There's a trickle charger in there because there for a while I wasn't driving it much, so I have a trickle charger for it. You can see everything's as it should be. There's all the parts that belong with the car are back here, all the tools that come with it, and the new this is for lifting it. It fits in a slot for raising the car up to change tires or whatever. And there's, if I can get these line back, there we go. So all of that's still there. The piece you need, the lug for the aftermarket wheels. There's some extra filters in here. The front guard that I never installed. So some extra lights, but you see new shocks here as well. You have to be careful with that hood because it's aluminum. It's hard to see when it's dirty. Like I said, I'm sorry I didn't wash it. I just haven't had a chance. Right there. There's a little ding. It's been there since I got it. Original by Xenon bulbs, but I've got an extra set for it as well. Changed the fog lights to LED, so they're a little bit brighter, a little bit nicer. I think that is it. I'm gonna start it up, but I'm gonna start it up with the lid down. I put LEDs on the interior lighting. It's got this little reef spoiler thing. That's an oversized spoiler that I bought for it, so it's a little bit bigger, shows a little more. Performance-wise, I don't know if it really does anything, but the original wing is about that big, and I think I still have it if you want it, but I think the bigger wing just kind of gives it more of a little bit of a aggressive look. Like I said, I did a lot of this stuff myself. I redid all this blue. So the car was originally gray like this, actually gray like this, and that gray rubs off over time. So the doors and everything just look really bland and plain. So I bought really nice paints and leather treatments and changed the doors to black and did the Miami blue or the Pacific blue or whatever I could find that was closest to the Miami blue. And then I did the same thing inside the car on some of the trim, just to add some color to it. The dash is now black, the steering wheel. So I did that all myself. Carbon fiber wrap some of this just because it just looked dull, and I wasn't going to pay to have this car completely redone. The return on investment to me just didn't make sense. So repainted the center console. That's a new leather hand wrap around the stitch leather hand wrap around the e-brake. That's a new shift boot and shifter. I switched to that because the old one was just, again, bland. So the headliner last week started dropping. I think it's the Florida heat. I live in Florida. It's very hot, and it's Alcantara, so I haven't pinned it or anything because I didn't want to damage the material. That is one of the things that I considered in the pricing because I don't know how expensive it'll be. I think they can reuse the material, but if they can't, I don't know. So I just kind of considered that in the pricing because I'd originally started out closer to 20. LED lights while I'm thinking about it, interior lights, but new speakers behind the doors. It's not a great sound system, but I mean, I drive this and listen to the engine, not music. So anyways, I haven't got to the back with the painting yet. I just mainly focused on the main cabin here. Leather seats are in good condition. You can see I keep treatment on them. I use the leather cleaner and really high-end leather lotion to keep them good. They're electric, they work. There's no problem. The memory button works. It's based on keys, and I've only got key number 2. When I bought it, that's all it came with. So there's that. This is a new switch. It's well, I just released everything, but that works both the front and trunk. I didn't want to do any damage to the car, so I ran the speakers like that. I couldn't get anybody to do my speakers for me here. I couldn't find anybody to do it professionally. So in lieu of like really getting into the car and making a mess of something, I just ran them like that because I figured it wasn't that important, and also maybe the next person just won't, you know, I don't know. I don't do speakers, so I just kept it really simple. I was nervous about really getting too deep into the car. The pedals are the factory ones, but it comes with really nice aluminum aftermarket racing pedals. I just haven't installed them yet. I mean, it's Florida, so it's hot, so I don't get out here and mess around with it too much in the summer. So, all right. Well, that being said, you've seen that's basically all the flaws, I would say, is the sun or the roof here, and I would say possibly the little dent up front. But I mean, for the most part, it's a solid car. Mechanically, it's strong. The lock button works. These are new AC switches, because anybody that knows Porsche Caymans, these things wear off really nasty. This is not the sticker. This is an actual switch. I took this all apart, and this is the actual mount that I think I forget the company, Sunshine, well, whoever it is, they make this cell phone mount for the car. I installed that stereo because the factory stereo didn't work. Again, there's the new shifter. So fire missiles, Porsche floor mats. I painted that one over there because I'm not really great with 3M material, and it has that cutout for the umbrella. So there's a little Porsche umbrella there. It's brand new, never been used. So and there's just some random stickers in the car, you know, little stuff like that. That's just little things because I like to tweak on the car. So anyways, we'll start it up. I don't know how it's going to sound on the phone, but in person, it's amazing. This car is an animal when it's running. So we'll go through the dashboard real quick before I step outside. So the dashboard, all right, so you've got flat tire warnings. The tires are not flat, you just saw them. So it's one of two things. My pressure might be low, but more than likely when I switched everything over, we use the factory TPS, I think, versus new ones, which I didn't know that I should have got new ones. So I think they need to be swapped out. That's something I just have to get it down to my guy and let him do real quick. It's not that big a deal. So, but that's why the tire light's on. The tires don't look flat, but I can't say for sure because I haven't checked the pressure. The drive's fine, so maybe the pressure's low, or maybe it needs to do TPS, whatever the sensors are. It's not a big deal. Again, I considered that in the price because they're not expensive, but it's going to take you the time of taking it, somebody letting them take the tires apart and do it. So pull on the button and it switches. I'm not wearing my seatbelt, obviously. All right, yeah, I just accidentally opened the front. And okay, so now we're going to get into the next warning. The back lights, I've replaced them all with LEDs, and they're CAN bus. They're supposed to be CAN bus. Well, it still didn't work. The car still identifies them as not being there. So that being said, you can take all the LEDs out and put the factory bulbs back in, and it's all fine. And the lights will go away if they bother you. For me, because I can drive with the little exclamation point and the rest of it doesn't matter to me, I've just left the LEDs in there. It's a small car, it's low to the ground. I like the brighter lights, but you could switch it all back to factory if you want, and these little things will go away. But you just keep tapping the button here, pulling it back, and it'll keep clearing that message, but it will leave the exclamation point up there, as you'll see. So there was a check engine light P2402. I used my thing to find out what that, to scan it and find out what that meant. It didn't affect the way the car drove. Just turning on the AC and showing you that works. Max AC. It didn't affect the way the car drove. I didn't notice anything different in the actual car performance. I think it's got something to do with the evap system or something. So it's something that can be fixed. It's not, from what I understand, a big deal. But it didn't affect the way the car drove. I can't get you to... Oh, there you go. Mileage. 87,126. Original miles on the second owner. Let's see. These always kind of sag. You can buy new ones, but I wasn't going to spend all that money on a cup holder. I very rarely have anything in here to drink, but this does work. So does this one. You know, it's not in there like with a screw. The screws are real tedious to get to like in there, and another one of those little details I haven't messed with. But big picture, I bought this car to drive it because it's freaking fun to drive. It's a 5-speed. It's the base model, but at 250 horsepower with the chip upgrade that I had done, or not the chip upgrade, but the flash job that I had done by the Porsche guy. It's a blast to drive. The exhaust is amazing. It shifts beautiful. So all this cosmetic stuff's not really, to me, wasn't that important. I did it just to add a little flash to the interior for myself. You know, it's not perfect, but you can go back and redo it. This stuff holds paint really well. Believe it or not, that's paint. So you could go in and change this all if you wanted to. It's not that big a deal. Just so you see, I'm not hiding any cracks in the seats. This is just where my dog sits, and I make him sit on towels so that his nails don't mess up the seats. That's just his seatbelt. Just so you know, I'm not jerking you around on anything. Close the car. Well, I was gonna close the car, but I'm against the tire on my truck. There we go. All right. Close the car. AC's running right now. Let me turn the AC off so you can hear. So I don't want to get too crazy because my neighbor's a deputy sheriff and he might be sleeping, but the throttle's really tight, really responsive. All right, let's step outside and see what it sounds like from behind. Close this. Oh, and you know what? I'm gonna put the wing down just so you can see. I'm not driving you there. Wing. So you hit this manual button and you can raise and lower the wing without letting the computer do it. Oh, you gotta do it. That was up. Now I gotta do it down. There we go. And now you see it's down. So I don't know how it's gonna pick up on the cell phone. I need to get it out and drive it so you can really hear it. That's when you can really hear how amazing this exhaust is. It's cat back. I didn't do anything cool to the cats yet. That's where it really gets pricey. But yeah, that's my car. I don't really have to sell it. You know, I do drive it once a week minimum, but you know, I've got some other things I'm looking at doing, so I considered selling it. So hopefully that answers all your questions. I think I covered everything pretty closely. There's a little bit of a balance on it. That's just because I believe in using the bank's money, but it's not much. I'm gonna find out for you guys what the bank says about how they'll handle the buyer, and if all else fails, I'll just pay it off and then recoup my money when I sell it. So that's about it. If you have any other questions, let me close the lid. It's aluminum, so you got to be careful with it. If you have any other questions, I guess let me know, but I can't imagine what else there would be. So there you go.